So let's talk about a little bit about the program history. So as I mentioned, I've been here for 4 years. So summer 2016 was like my first year that I got here and really was able to take the reins over the ambassador program. So this is what our weekly tour schedule used to look like. So we had some group tours 3 days a week, or every day of the week, but only once in the morning or in the afternoon. We had an individual tour. We used to do these elementary school tours, and then we have another tour here on later in the afternoon. And then also every Saturday we had an 11 a.m. tour scheduled where we would host a lot of people who would come here, right? So each year, as you can see this growth, right? So we're talking a little bit about the growth of the program. You'll see where we've added some responsibilities, we've taken some away. We evaluate our program every year to meet the needs of our students, all right, and meet the needs of our office. So you are in like you're not in a super formal structural program. You're in one that grows and it changes as necessary, okay, which I think is a beautiful thing. Believe it or not, in 2016, 2017, 19 ambassadors, okay? 19 was what we were working with, and these were all their responsibilities right here. So call center tours, admissions counters, some of the similar things that you'll see here. But also we had a whole nother counter. Do y'all know where the financial aid counter is now? That used to be in our program. We used to be in charge of that counter as well. Thank God we're not anymore, because that is a lot of questions that I don't want to answer anymore. But then we had 4 LCs. So 2015, 2016 was the first year that I actually brought the Leadership Council model to the ambassador program. So there was really not this upward mobility for the program, and I wanted students to have the opportunity to grow with the program. So not just be an ambassador, but be a Leadership Council member, or be an intern, or be a mentor. And so we brought the Leadership Council model there, and I think it's been very, very successful since. I hope so. We've kept it, so maybe, right? And so that's something that's been great. Here is the 2017-2018 visit overview. This was kind of the first year that Laura got here, and so that became a lot. And so we decided, hey, and we also only stayed with about 19 ambassadors again. So we added all those tours and still only had about 19 or 20 ambassadors. So you will see that, you know, we kind of overwhelmed ourselves that year. Then we kind of come here, and Laura and I finally are just like, you know what, we got to do something. We can't have that many. So we kind of went back to a model to where we had less tours, but more so, but still way too many. And we were also adding athletics tours. So in the 2018-2019, we decided that we would also be helping out for the football game Saturdays. And so that's something that our ambassadors have loved to do to help go and recruit our potential prospective football students. And that's fun, right? It was a good time. And so really, and the athletics really loves the fact you get to go on the field with them and stuff like that. You get like this cool pass. I would want to do it, but they don't let me. They're like, you're old. I'm like, okay, cool. So we have all these tours that we have going, and then this was what we did last year. Worked pretty well. I think we're getting better, but I think really what Laura has done with this year is going to be super impactful as well. Now, as you can see, once Laura kind of got a hold of the reins, she's like, Joey, you're crazy. 20 ambassadors, we need to double that. I'm like, okay, sure. So we did. 40 ambassadors, 17 interns, and we actually upped the Leadership Council responsibilities as well. This is really how this model worked. This is what was called an organizational chart, if you will. And so this is how Laura's the program manager. She is the woman in charge. Then you have Gabby, who was the executive director, who is now Shreya, right? If we're putting if we're comparing apples to apples. And then we had our leadership positions here, and then we also had some other people who reported to those people. So as you can see here, we added outbound calls just last year, and where students who have let us know that they're interested in UH, we will call them to ask them if they have any questions about their application, why haven't they signed up for an orientation, et cetera, okay? And then what we do now for this year is this is going to be our brand new tour schedule, which I believe they all just opened up, right, Ashley? Yes. For Sarah, yeah, thank you. And so here you see a little bit different. We're going to go into each one of these, but this is just, as you can see from the different years, how we've adjusted keeping the athletics tour. I believe this is this the admitted or Transfer Tuesday? Transfer Tuesday, so we're going to go over that as well. So you can see how we're still busy, okay, during the week, which is why y'all are going to get hours, and we're going to go over all your scheduling and everything. But we now add an athletics tour on Friday. It's an optional tour, right? So remember that was just on Saturday. Now they want us to expose it a little bit more, which I think is great, right? And so we're going to be doing a couple of different things this year. So y'all just get ready for it. Again, with new things happening, There's going to need to be some flexibility, some adaptability, right? We're going to get everything going smooth as we can first, just as soon as we can, but those first couple weeks as we're getting into it may be a little rocky. So y'all just know that you're going to get it. Don't be too upset about it. Practice in the break room for 3 hours if you need to, right? You're going to be taken care of. And this is your 2019-2020 overview of the org chart. So as you can see, we have Miss Sarah back here, who is going to be the person who the Leadership Council is going to be directly reporting to, all knowing that above Sarah you have Laura, who you can go to, you have me. You're going to meet Miss Naisha Earls, who is the program manager over orientation. And so y'all have some responsibilities within that as well. So just know that this is kind of what you're looking at here for the 2019-2020 overview. And this is your team. This is who's going to support you in those times that you need support. And also knowing that it doesn't expand to just those people. It expands to everyone who's in this room, okay? So your profile for this year is that we have 51 total members. We're going to have 24 ambassadors, 20 interns. There are 4 house leaders. There's 1 executive director, 5 leadership council members, also, and then Sarah as our GA. Here's our ambassador profile for our majors. Good deal. So Rachel asked about my degrees earlier. We're not going to worry about that, but I have 2 degrees I have a degree in poli-sci and a degree in history. So I love my class people. And then I have a master's in higher education. I'm getting my doctorate in ethical leadership, which falls into education. So if you're at EDU or class, I'm watching you. Okay, you got to step up. No, I'm kidding. All right, good. Really important slide here for context. Okay, these are our visit numbers by year. I love this. I love this slide because I love data. But look at when we started. We saw about 14,351 people come through our doors a year, okay, that year. And then we upped it by about 1,000 almost for FY16-17. Upped it by, a little more than 1,000 for FY17-18. And then, boom, right for this past year, we upped it by almost 5,000, over 5,000. So we had a grand year in athletics, right? Which research tells us that how well a school does athletically does increase interest, right? And so we may have more people who came to look at us, right? I think that another cool thing that happened that maybe that also happened right here is that this year, what happened FY17-18 in September? August. Harvey, right? And so with Harvey, that caused a lot of local issues, right? So people losing things, unfortunately. However, when that happens, people tend to stay close. They don't tend to go off, right? And Houston being the 4th largest city in America, a lot more of our students decided to stay here in Houston rather than going off, right? And so I think that's also, but coupled with our athletic profile, I think that's one reason why we saw such an increase of people being like, well, let me check out UH because I hadn't thought of it, but now circumstances require me. And we offered so much aid because of Harvey, right? And we offered so much financial assistance to students who were needing that. Because I think that year we waived if they had any type of FEMA aid or anything like that, we automatically waived their application fee, we waived their orientation fee, if they presented us with something. So I think that, huge event coupled with our athletics definitely aided in our increase in people wanting to look at us. And then FY17, our student enrollment did not go up a whole lot. Right, and so it did for FY18-19, but our FY19-20, so this fall semester, we're flat, right? And so we're back kind of being a little bit plateaued, which is okay. However, to still stay at the rate that we are, it was because people like you, ambassadors, because it still takes a lot to garner that interest, and it still takes a lot to get people to understand that UH can be their home, right? And so, good. Again, I, just like Mardell, I'm an educator too. I don't have all the answers, so a lot of this is just us going to be discussing things, right? And so finally, let's talk a little bit about individual visits. So these are the type of campus visits that we put on, okay? And so we have individual visits. We have which are our prospective student events, are going to be the ones who we're going to be seeing during a lot of this, right? So individual visits, as we're going to go over the schedule, occur Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Now, every third Saturday, at 11 a.m. Okay, so we don't do Saturday visits anymore every Saturday. We only do them on the third Saturday, and those are offered in English and Spanish. Okay. Then we also have admitted student visits. So what we're seeing is that a lot more students are applying to the University of Houston, and they need a little bit more information on those next steps. Okay. So after they apply, once they've been admitted, we offer a very specific campus tour and presentation for them to learn a little bit more about FAFSA, financial aid, orientation, all those great things to help them transition to the university, okay? And so, because we're really in the business of transition. Then we have Explore UH. I think we had one today with like 3 people. Yeah. And so it wasn't big. September is our slowest month, right? But they get really large. So they get to like hundreds of people here, okay? So Explore UH occur on most Fridays, and it's going to be at 10 a.m. And we're going to be able to give them also, the thing that separates Explore UH from an individual visit is that with Explore UH, they have the option to speak to their academic college. Okay, so a huge recruiting point and discussion point for students is because when they come here for a normal campus visit, it's just, here's the campus, here's housing, see you later. Hope you love us, right? But Explore UH, we can say, campus tour, housing, let's also get you in to talk with maybe an advisor or someone that's dealing with something that you want to major in. So it's just another point of interest that they get to have for being here on campus. And then we have Transfer Tuesdays. This is what, not even a year old, like maybe, and so it's still 1 year old. So super cool program. So as I mentioned, I was a transfer student. Any transfer students in here? Were you? I know one. Well, hey, that's amazing! Yay, that's exciting. So we've done a lot of work on transfer students. Okay, as in like improving their experience. Okay, so when I got here, we didn't do anything really for transfer students, and for a long time we haven't. But what we wanted to do was that we wanted to start something specifically for transfer students who could come. We know that a lot of our transfer students are people who work or have jobs, so we offered a little bit later of a student visit. What time does it start? 4? Yeah, so it starts at 4 o'clock. So we're hoping that, hey, take off the hour before the end of the workday and come to campus, and we're going to get you specific information to transferring to UH. We also just started this year, because I chaired the committee, we started sending out people's transfer credit report right after they were admitted. So once the student got admitted, they were sent an email 3 days later letting them know how to go check their transfer credit report. For those of you not transfer students, what that report does is that it identifies the transfer equivalencies between the courses that they took at their transfer institution and what those courses come over as here at UH, which is like the holy grail of a transfer student's life, right? Knowing what they've already taken and paid money for and what it transfers to at UH, okay? So we even have software that we're about to purchase for like $375,000 that is even going to help that process become even better, okay? So we're really putting in a lot of money and a lot of effort into improving the transfer student experience because of me. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, so a lot of cool things where I get to work with you a little bit more on, and we get to have a good time. But these are our really special events because of the magnitude of people who attend these events, okay? Not that campus visits are less important, but these special events are ones where we have to really put on a show, okay? And so, first off, the one that you're always going to hear about, we do 4 times a year, is Cougar Preview. It is a university's largest open house. Has anyone not worked it but attended a Cougar Preview? Okay, good. How was it?
It was good.
That's what you should say. Okay. Not kidding. So Cougar Preview, we do welcome over 1,000 guests each time, okay? And so again, with 4 of them, that's about 4,000 people that we're seeing each time. It's a whole big thing that we have to coordinate, and we enjoy doing it. And it's where we are aggressively friendly, okay? It's where we are smiling. Y'all are going to get to learn that term very well, okay? We are aggressively friendly. We are going out of our way. Customer service experience to the max. All things that we're going to train you on, but also things hopefully you're bringing in a little bit naturally, right? And so those are things that are going to be great for you. Cougar Preview one day, tons of different things to go over. I think they're going to go over these with you a little bit later, but super fun event, very impactful, and I believe all of us typically work that event. Right, Ashley? Yes,
everyone works it.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. You get to be here at like 6:30 in the morning. It's tons of fun, right? And so, good. No cheers on 6:30? Got it. Okay. Probably nice. So actually, I'll go with it. So this is winter orientation. Orientation is also within the realm of Perspective and New Student Programs. For that, our acronym is PNSP. I don't know if y'all heard of that yet. But orientation, it should really say spring orientation, because it's the orientation that we're welcoming our spring admits to, okay? You don't have a large role in spring orientation, only if we need something, or if we decide to offer tours in the morning, which we have done, but we don't do it all the time. It's really up to whatever Laura and I decide for that, and Aisha. But just know that we do have that during the break, kind of. So when you're not here and in class, we are still here working, and we are putting on these orientations. And so some of you will be asked to stay over the break, or whatever, and work during holidays, because we are still open. All right, that's not everyone, but it's those of you who can be here and want to get your coins, right? Okay, and so you can stay here and you can work with us. All right. Scarlet Night, this is they put an after-hours dinner with admitted students to talk more about the college system process. Yes, that is true. This is also an event that is put on by what we call our Access and Outreach team. So this is our team specifically in admissions that are reaching out to those students who may be first generation. They may come from a low socioeconomic background. They may come from the foster care system. So we have an entire Access and Outreach team that reaches out to these students for this Scarlet Night event. This event is done 3 times. We have one specifically that targets African American and Black students, and then we have one that also targets our Latinx, Chicano students, and we also hold an event in Spanish. So just know that this is, like I said, put on by our Access and Outreach team, and they're ones who are making sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're reaching out to these students who may need a little bit extra help in the college going process. Also, then finally, Summer Leadership Institute. This is brand new, which is why there's 7 words here. It's fine. Summer Leadership Institute is a brand new thing that we're starting this year. We had a summer intern. Her name was Haley. She was wonderful, and she and with Laura developed this entire Summer Leadership Institute. It is going to be held, I believe, July 9th through 12th. It's the week after July 4th this summer. We're going to be inviting 50 to 100 students from all across Houston to come and spend 4 days, 3 nights here on campus for a leadership retreat, okay? I put leadership retreat because the purpose of this retreat and this institute is going to be that we're going to try and help students understand, they're juniors, okay, in high school, and who are going into their senior year. So I guess they're seniors really, but they're going to be going into their senior year, and we're going to host them on campus and provide them with tons of opportunities to get a jump start on their leadership skills. We're also going to talk to them about the college application process. The huge part of this is that it's not, so the main goal of this is not to be biased and just push UH, right? But it is being held on UH's campus with a goal that we would hopefully change their minds on some of them, that if they never visited campus before, this is a great and accessible opportunity for them to come and do so. And then they will then ultimately choose UH, okay? And so, but again, it's not going to be super biased, but all of us are going to be here. They're going to fall in love with you, and it's going to be great, all right? Again, not everyone will be required to work this event because we'll also have some orientation leaders who will be helping out with this as well. But if you're here, you're around, and you want to be a part of it, we will have that opportunity for you coming up this summer, okay? Then I think that's where I'll leave you because I know that there's other things that need to go on. And I actually have class tonight, so I have to get to class. It never ends. All right. Thank y'all so much. I've enjoyed my time with y'all.